Popular scientific consensus says our climate is changing in 2019.
It's always been changing, and it will always be changing. Recently, however, the change has been more drastic and observable to scientists, prompting these questions.
What do scientists believe about climate change?
Is this a normal change? Are these normal fluctuations?
Why do scientists think that the climate is changing?
And if the damage is seriously harming our Earth, what steps can we take to undo it?
Let's start at the beginning, the very beginning. 4.5 billion years ago. Science says that this is probably when the Earth was first formed. Most religions place the beginning of Earth way later, so we respect if you have other opinions on when the Earth was formed. This isn't a debate, we're just talking about climate change.
When the Earth was formed, and for like a couple billion years after that, it was quiet. Relatively speaking. We as humans are pretty sure that we were the only humanoid life on Earth. So before our ancestors, the Neanderthals, started walking and scratching paintings onto cave walls, the Earth had no recorded histories.
Once humans did start recording history, we fast forwarded to about 5,300 years ago, or 3,700 BCE. Historians were able to analyze the past more effectively. Humans recorded things that they thought were important, including trading records, stories, death and birth logs, and, you guessed it, the weather.
The most famous example of humans recording weather patterns traces back to ancient Egyptians, when they recorded the flooding of the Nile. Because of this record-keeping, historians were able to see what a typical day in Egypt would look like. This gives us a better idea of why Egyptians did things the way they do, or how they lived back then.
Scientists today are able to use technology to surmise predictive weather patterns for the Earth, even before accurate writing systems were invented, using a mixture of recorded data and typical weather fluctuations in the Earth's past. This diagram here is a great example of how the weather fluctuated in temperature and humidity, moving in waves throughout history.
And look, there we are, near the end of the chart. Yeah, that average temperature is a little high, isn't it? And it's only predicted to continue climbing. In fact, scientists from NASA believe that the past 60 years of global warming have completely overruled the previous 600 years of global cooling. The planet's average surface temperature has risen almost 1 degree Celsius since the mid-1900s. It's predicted to rise between 2 to 6 degrees Celsius in the next century, a drastic figure. In the past periods of global warming, it's taken the planet 5,000 years to reach that amount.
Carbon dioxide levels have risen in an unprecedented amount in the past 60 years, breaking their way past a line of carbon dioxide emissions that, to our scientific knowledge, have never crossed Earth before. All this excess CO2 gets stuck in our atmosphere, and it acts like a blanket for our Earth, trapping warm air, causing high temperatures globally.
Glacial levels and ice sheets are also shrinking at a faster pace than we've ever observed before due to rapid increases in temperature. And as if our oceans weren't already going through enough, they're also becoming more acidic, which is extremely harmful to the fragile ecosystems that live there.
To sum up, yeah, our climate is changing, and scientists are pretty much all in consensus about who's causing it. Us. According to NASA, 97% of climate scientists agree that the majority of climate warming trends in the past century are likely the fault of human activities, namely the increase in factories which emit high levels of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases into our atmosphere.
So if our climate is changing and it's likely to continue to change, what can we do to slow down climate change?
As individuals, we can work on reducing our individual carbon footprint and using less single-use plastic, eliminating excess energy use, and buying from companies who are environmentally conscious.
In groups or on a bigger scale, planting more trees, encouraging more companies to become environmentally conscious, and using more renewable energy will also create big steps towards reducing the amount of pollution in the world.
It's better if we make strides together to improve the environment, for our health and the health of the world too. United as people, we can create big changes in our modern world.
We've left links in this description to a variety of sources on climate change. They're definitely worth a look at if you're interested in more information. This video barely scratches the surface of the nuanced issue of global warming and climate change.
We fully intend to continue talking about this topic in different forms. Be sure to let us know in the comments section if you have questions or concerned about anything that we've discussed today. It's important to realize that what we talked about today is what scientists generally agree upon, based on compilated data about what we believe in the history of our Earth and our best guesses at the future. These are still just predictions, and additional research onto this field may prove to yield different results in the future.
Until next time, viewers.